Hello everybody, welcome back to Room Temp Beer. Today's video is going to be discussing Game of the Year awards. Jeff Keighley's favorite event of the year, and I hate to admit it, sometimes mine, even though it's usually pretty disappointing how they handle, the actual devs that worked to put the games up there. Sometimes they don't give them their flowers and they throw Anthony Mackie on stage for some reason, but this year is a very special year, very important year for games. Indies dominated, AA dominated, AAA is in the gutter, and I'm, for one, very happy to see it. And so I decided that I would create a video showcasing who I'm voting for on the Game Awards. This isn't a democratic process. I don't have to hide my vote, or at least I don't have to, when you vote at the polls, you have to hide it for whatever reason, as if people that you know don't already know who you're voting for anyways, but whatever. Don't have to do that here. I'm gonna show you all exactly who I'm voting for, and you can all judge me in the comments, or you can all agree with me because I have excellent opinions all the time, and I'm never wrong about anything. Without any further ado, let's get to the voting. Alright, so we're on the game's website, and what I actually did is I moved to the end of the categories, and I'm gonna be moving all the way back up because the first category is Game of the Year, but I kind of want to build up to that, so I'll be voting for all the other categories and then Game of the Year at the very end. Now, unfortunately, I have to be honest, I'm not an esports team follower. Usually, when it comes to the categories I'm not familiar with, I just pick whatever the coolest looking one is. Sorry. I could just abstain, but I'm not going to, so I'm just gonna pick the coolest sounding one here. And honestly, it's NRG because my middle school's mascot was like energy, like the concept of energy was my middle school mascot, and we titled it as NRG. We even had our homeroom was called NRG, so I'm going with NRG. Okay, this is just gonna keep happening, isn't it? I'm gonna go back. Previous. Best esports athlete, same thing. Whoever has the coolest name is the one I'm picking. Forsaken, sounds cool. I'm picking him. Why does he keep asking me if I want to change or share my vote? I'm good, guys. I'll just go to the next one now. Best esports game. I've played Valorant and Counter-Strike. I don't play any of these games, to be honest. But I'll go with Valorant. I don't really care for anything Riot produces, if I'm being totally honest with you, but it's fine. Next category, Content Creator of the Year. I'm gonna be honest, the only one I watch on here is Moist Critical, so I'm just gonna pick Moist Critical, especially knowing that he won't show up because he's terrified of flying. I think it would be really funny if he did. I'm not too familiar with anyone on here besides Kai Cenat and Moist, and I think Kai Cenat's kind of annoying. Sorry if you're a big Cenat stan. Senatan. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna vote Moist Critical. Charlie is fun and funny, and I like him. Most anticipated game. Now listen, I know everyone's gonna pick. I know Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna win. Like, I know for a fact that it's going to win, but I'm actually mostly excited for Wolverine and Resident Evil. If I really wanted to be an underdog voter, I'd go Resident Evil, but I'm gonna pick Wolverine because that is what I'm most excited for. Even though I know GTA 6 is gonna win by a landslide, and I am excited for it. I just don't care for it as much as other people do. Best adaptation. Oh fuck, these are all bad. I did end up watching a Minecraft movie. I watched a couple episodes of Devil May Cry. It was alright. Last of Us Season 2 was an abomination. Until Dawn wasn't very good. And I didn't actually watch Splinter Cell Deathwatch. I heard it was decent, but I haven't watched it, so I don't really have an opinion on it. You know what? Fuck. Who's the guy that directed Until Dawn? I know he goes by Pony Smasher on Instagram. David F. Sandberg. I love David F. Sandberg. I think he's a great director and a good voice that also is educational regarding the film industry. So I just want him to win. So I'll just pick Until Dawn, even though I didn't really like it that much. Sorry, David. Don't think he watches this video, but it's whatever. Best multiplayer. Now, I think Peak will probably win because of how popular it was, but unfortunately, the only one I've played on here is Elden Ring Night Rain. So I'm just gonna vote for that one because it's the only one I've played. Sorry guys, I promise I have better opinions later on, or just more of an opinion later on. Right now I'm trying to like blast into the categories, but it'll become harder the closer I get to the Game of the Year, that's for sure. Best esports racing, I think Rematch. I didn't play Rematch, but it was definitely the coolest idea and concept to me when I first saw it revealed. So, and I liked Slow Clap as a studio, so I'm gonna go with them. Rematch it is. Now, what's next? Best sim strategy. I know people really liked Final Fantasy Tactics, but to me, like, The Alters is the coolest concept for a sim strategy game, so I'm gonna vote for that one. If you don't know, it's like one guy like constantly clones himself, and then all the clones have to work together to survive on, like, I think it's a desert planet, and that just sounds awesome to me. I have it on my wish list. I'll probably cop it pretty soon, but that sounds really cool. Best family game. Honestly, I haven't played any of these, but if I had to pick one, it would be Donkey Kong Bonanza, just because it seems like an incredible game, and from what I've seen of it, it seems like, you know, it's deeper than it looks on the surface, and it looks like a lot of fun compared to the other ones. Although, I've heard Split Fiction's also awesome. I just can't, I feel like that's a game I really would have to play, because I haven't seen any gameplay for it, but I've seen a lot of gameplay for Bonanza. I don't own a Switch, so that's the only way I can consume, like, Nintendo properties. Fighting, I'm not really a fan of any of these. I kind of just need to be a contrarian and like go against the grain and just pick Fatal Fury. I know nothing about Fatal Fury. I just don't want to pick a Riot game if I can help it. I know I picked Valorant either, but shut the fuck up. It doesn't really matter. You know what? Yeah, I'm sure out of all of these, Capcom's probably like the best one. I don't actually know. I'm just saying that. Don't kill me. When are we gonna get to the categories I'm familiar? Okay, best RPG. Now, this is tough. It's between Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and Kingdom Come. I haven't really played enough Kingdom Come. I played a couple hours at a friend's house, and that's, if you know Kingdom Come, you know that's not really enough time to understand how good the game is. So I'm gonna go Clair Obscur. I fear it will be a Clair Obscur sweep, and I don't think anyone can really. If you were looking for like some controversial opinions, I don't really think you'll find them here. I do think Clair Obscur is going to sweep, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. Best action adventure. Now, all these games are great. I played a bit of Death Stranding 2. I played all of Ghost of Yotei. Indiana Jones was cool, but the only games I've played to completion are Ghost of Yotei and Silksong, and I'm going to go with Silksong. Like, I don't think anything else deserves the vote as much as Silksong does. It's an amazing game with a simple but deceptively deep combat and movement system. So I'd say this definitely deserves best action adventure. And I mean, like, Ghost of Yotei was great too, but it was kind of more of the same, whereas Silksong was a complete, you know, level above Hollow Knight. Best action game. Does Hades count as an action game? I mean, Hades and Doom are the only ones I've played a little bit of. Ninja Gaiden 4 looked amazing. I honestly might have picked Ninja Gaiden 4 if, yeah, I might have picked Ninja Gaiden 4 if I actually played more of it, but I think my vote's gonna go to Hades 2, because from the amount that I've played, I really enjoyed it, and I intend to play a lot more when it comes out on consoles. I only played a little bit on PC, but I'm mostly a console player, so that's where most of my playtime is gonna be when it lands on PS5. The VR AR, I have no opinion on this. I've actually played all of Midnight Walk, so I'll go with that one. I really like that game. I didn't play it in VR, but I know that if I did, I would enjoy it a lot, because it's a game that really lends itself well to like a VR environment. Let's move on. Mobile game. I don't fucking play mobile games. I'm gonna be honest with you. Being the Persona shill I am, I would pick Persona 5, but I have a lot of friends that love Uma Musume, and it would make them very happy if I picked Uma Musume, so I'm gonna pick Uma Musume. And if it wins, I know Uma Musume Twitter is gonna go crazy, so I want them to have their time in the sun. Persona 5 has had its time. Best debut indie game. Right, they actually removed one of the categories for this, I think. They removed, was it Ball at Pit, or am I thinking of a different game? I forget exactly what the game's name was, but the creator was like, oh, this technically isn't my first indie game, so I shouldn't be allowed on here. And I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. Now, I own Dispatch, but I haven't played it. That being said, I do like games as good as I'm sure Dispatch is, I've heard it's amazing, as good as it is, I like games with a bit more meat on their bones in terms of gameplay, and so I think Clair Obscur is going to have to take it for me. I've also played Blueprints, but you know, it's a puzzle strategy game, and again, gameplay is king, and as much as I enjoyed the small amount, again, a lot of these games I've played like bits of, but Clair Obscur deserves my vote for this one because it's just a complete package in my opinion. Again, a lot of Clair Obscur, unfortunately. If you... Oh, so it wasn't Baldur's Pit. I was wrong. It's a different game. Whatever. Best independent game. This is really tough. This is really tough. I know I just said the best debut indie was Clair Obscur. Listen, if we're going independent, this one's tough. This one's tough. Because for me, it's between Clair Obscur, Hades 2, and Silksong. And Blueprints is, I think, a really strong contender as well. I think Blueprints might have some sneak wins here and there. You'll see why towards the end of the video. But best independent game has to go to Silksong, just for the hype and the experience that I had playing it, and the fact that it's made by like 3 or 4 guys. Like, that's really huge. I know Clair Obscur gets a lot of like praise for being made by only 30 people, but Silksong was made by like 3 or 4 people, and I think that's crazy. So Silksong gets my vote for best indie game, but you'll see why very soon. Best community support. I'll go Baldur's Gate. You know, Baldur's Gate has had some really, really great patches come out in the last like year and a half, and hell, like last week they released another patch to help with performance. They're doing a great job, and honestly, it's the best game on this list. Like, I think No Man's Sky might win because they've had the biggest changes over the last like 10 years. But I think Baldur's Gate 3 is the best game on this list. Who knows, Final Fantasy 14 might win again too. I don't know. But yeah, Baldur's Gate's the best game on that list. Best ongoing? That was tough. That was tough. I think it would be really funny if Final Fantasy 14 won again. And especially because they are doing a great job with the DLCs they put out. Like, even if I don't play games, I do keep, like, an annoying... I do keep an annoying amount of an eye on what games are coming out with. And I mean, like, I like Marvel Rivals. I think it's fun. I don't really play it anymore, but for the amount of time that I did play it, I had a good time with it. If I can, I'm gonna go Final Fantasy 14. I think they're doing a good job. I don't know how long the game has been out, but I still see like big expansions announced like every couple of months, and that's really impressive. Games for Impact. I'm gonna be honest, the only one I played on here is Lost Records Bloom and Rage, and I didn't even finish it. I guess I'll vote for it because it's the only one I've played enough of. I've heard South of Midnight was decent, but I think I'll just go with Lost Records. Sorry to the others. Hopefully it wins. Sorry. Alright, we're coming towards the end here. Innovation and accessibility. Again, don't really know. I know I played Doom, so I'll give it to Doom. Doom did have a lot of great accessibility options, this is true. Like, they made it very clear. Like, oh, you can change the difficulty, and there's there's like a million sliders, you can do whatever you want. And I do think that takes it a little bit away from like what Doom is about, but I mean, I'm not gonna vote against it. And honestly, I think Doom is probably the best game on that list anyway, so oops. Now, best performance. This one's tough. Everyone here gives a really good performance. I'm a big Jennifer English fan. Love her. If she's ever at a con, you will find me in line waiting 2 hours to meet her. She's great. I've actually met Charlie Cox at a con before. Unfortunately, I don't think Actually, if I have the digital photo of it, you'll see it on screen. If I don't have it, you won't see it on screen. But I actually met him once, and he was super cool. I think everyone on this list does a really good job, but I have to give it to Ben Starr, man. Like, he made me cry a couple times while I was playing Expedition 33. So did Jennifer English. But there's a specific scene. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but there's a specific scene towards the end of the game where if you choose a certain thing to do, then like Ben Starr gives such a heart-wrenching performance that I really love. And I mean, Charlie's great, but I'm gonna be honest, like he doesn't have the same connection to the industry that all of these people have here, and yeah, I think Troy Baker might win just because of how people are like, oh, he sounds just like Harrison Ford, like it's crazy. So I think he might win, but I think Ben Starr deserves it because he's the GOAT. He's really, really good at his job. And if not him, Jen English. If Jen English wins, fuck yes. Either way. Best audio design. I heard Silent Hill F has really great audio, but the the actually, you know what? Ghost of Yote has really good audio as well. Because the thing is, I want to give best soundtrack to Clair Obscur because that's what it has. But the sounds are also, yeah, you know what? Yeah, the sounds of the parries and when the whole party parries an attack, like that's really really satisfying. So I'm gonna go with Clair Obscur on that one. If not Clair Obscur, I probably would have given it to Ghost of Yote most likely. Best score music. This one's probably the hardest one on this list. Like, genuinely the hardest one. It's all these 4 games are incredible, fucking incredible, and I think Ghost of Yote's score is slightly better than Ghost of Tsushima's. I think Christopher Larkin knocked it out of the park with Silksong. I've been listening to the album a lot. Darren Korb, man, he does shit on this OST that I didn't actually know you could do. And then Lorien Testard, like, he deserves a lot of credit because he made like 100 tracks for the fucking game, and they're all slightly different, and they're all amazing, and they're all so good. I think as much as I love the music in Silksong, for me it comes down between Darren Korb and Lorien Testard. And this one's tough, man. Like, really tough. Like, if either of them win, I'll be very happy. I just know that the fucking orchestra that plays towards the end of the show is gonna go crazy. You're telling me we're gonna have Silksong, Hades 2, Expedition 33, Ghost of Yote, and Death Stranding 2 music playing all in the same... Oh, like, it's just gonna be so cool, man. I can't wait for that. I'm deflecting. I'm distracting from the truth here. The truth is, I think Lorien Testard deserves it. And if Darren Korb wins, I'll be equally happy. But I think Lorien Testard really deserves this because I cried so many times listening to the music in this game. So I think he really does deserve it. Best art direction is tough. I know I said this was going to be a Clair Obscur sweep, but I actually do think parts of Clair Obscur, I love the creature designs. I love the not the Nevrons, the little dudes with the paintbrushes on their heads. I'm forgetting their names. Hold on. The Gestrels in Clair Obscur. Like, I love the design for those guys. But for me personally, I think it actually comes down to Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight, just because those games are like beautiful. I think Clair Obscur has a bit too much visual clutter, and the UI is kind of eh. And I think, like, as much as I enjoy the visual aspects of Clair Obscur and like how crazy everything gets, I think there's a bit too much visual clutter in that game, and it's sometimes a bit distracting. But these 3 games are just so clean and cool. Ghost of Yote is beautiful, but honestly, like, I feel like it doesn't do as much as like seeing Ghost of Tsushima's landscapes is amazing, and Ghost of Yote is more of that, which isn't a bad thing. So I think I'm gonna cut that out. Death Stranding 2 is also, beautiful game. I've seen clips of it and, clips from stuff I haven't played, and it's an amazing looking game. But I think it has realism and fidelity going for it, and me particularly, I like weird art and like style a lot more than I like fidelity. So for me it comes between Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong. And I think I might have to give it to Hades 2. I think the character sprites and the environments are just so unique and the varied. And I mean, it's not like Silksong isn't. Silksong also has a lot of varied, unique environments. But I think what edges Hades 2 out slightly for me is character design. I think the bosses look really cool in in Hollow Knight Silksong, but I think like every single character in Hades 2 looks amazing. So I think it just barely edges Silksong out. It's crazy that the year was so good that Silksong isn't just winning everything. It's crazy to me. All right, next category. Oh, it didn't work. Here we go. Best narrative. Yeah, Clair Obscur. Not really a question. I'm not too familiar with how Death Stranding 2's plot plays out. I heard Kingdom 2's plot is also good, but the scale is like pretty big. I like how personal Clair Obscur felt in spite of its large scale. I do think there was like a couple of like weird choices, but like by the time everything wraps up, I'm like, this is amazing, and I think the way it wraps up is gonna live with me for a long time. Ghost of Yotei had nothing interesting to say. Like, as much as I liked that game and enjoyed playing it, the story had nothing interesting to say personally. So I'm giving that to Clair Obscur. Best game direction? Shit. That's tough. I mean, Kojima's probably gonna win because his games are just like basically movies now. And to be fair, there is some weird, there's some weird camera work and like mocap or maybe facial capture in Clair Obscur that took me out of the game a little bit. But I think the way the story unfolds, I don't know. I kind of want to give it to Death Stranding too, just because I know, even though I haven't played the whole game, I know that Kojima probably did a crazy job, like directing the shit out of it. But I'm still gonna give it to Clair Obscur because the creative vision in this game is just like so unique and innovative, and I don't think anything else is gonna do something like it for a long time. Game of the Year. Yep. It's tough. It's tough, man. For me, it's between Hades 2, Silksong, and Clair Obscur. The two games that made me feel the most, probably Clair Obscur and Hollow Knight Silksong. So everything else just gets thrown out because I always take how I feel into consideration when deciding this. Now, Clair Obscur made me feel frustrated and elated and sad, and so did Hollow Knight Silksong. And the experience I had talking to, you know, close friends of mine that were also playing the game the same time as me is something that I wouldn't trade that for the world. Fuck. This is tough. Honestly, if Clair Obscur, Hades 2, or Hollow Knight win, I think I'll be a happy man, and all of those games deserve to win on their best day. Tough, tough, tough. But because I gave Hollow Knight the best indie game, I gave Hollow Knight best indie game because I knew that I had to give Clair Obscur Game of the Year. And that's it for my Game of the Year picks. Let me know what you guys picked in the comments. Let me know what your Game of the Year is. Let me know what you guys thought of my decisions. I know some of them were kind of made without all the right data, but I can't play every game that comes out every year. I just try to pick the best ones that I can and hope that my opinions are right anyways. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I have a couple of wackier video ideas coming out soon. I don't really want to spoil them because they're kind of, again, weird. But, you know, it's just ideas that I've had running around in my head. I got busy after making those Peacemaker videos, but I really do want to get back into making some because ideas bumping around in my head and I want to do something about them. But anyways, I'm rambling. Comment, like, subscribe, all that fun shit, and I will see you all on the next video. Bye bye.